The future of travel certainly looks bright, whether it's Hyperloop One or Boom supersonic passenger jets. People are soon going to be moving around faster and further than ever before. But what does this mean for our vacations and commutes for the future? Joining me for a look at what we can expect in the next, 50 years or so is Futurist Nikolas Badminton. Good to have you with us this morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Okay, let's look into the future together here. Whether it's traveling to other countries or commuting to work, how are people going to get around in the next 50 years?
Yeah, so people are going to sort of change the way that they travel. I think there's going to be a more nomadic lifestyle, especially for younger people. I don't think people are going to stay longer in places, but getting around is going to be really, really interesting. I think the resurgence of supersonic travel, Boom and other operators are trying to use new technologies to reduce the noise, so you can travel from like New York to Paris in like 3.5 hours, from San Francisco to Tokyo in 5. People are going to want to get to places quicker. They're going to want to stay a lot longer as well. And then when you're thinking about ground transportation, things like maglev technology in Japan's like 600 kilometers an hour, but twice as fast as that is the potential of Hyperloop One and a network, especially in Europe, which is going to be really, really exciting.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so you also say space tourism is going to take off pretty soon. What can you tell me about that?
Yeah, so the X Prize was something that happened a few years ago as a $10 million prize to be able to take an aircraft into space and back twice in 48 hours. And that's been won, and now you've got operators like Virgin Galactic working with that technology. You've got people working on balloons to take people into subspace. And then, of course, you've got Elon Musk and SpaceX, and they're talking about doing moon tourism as well. I think this is very exciting. I do think that this is a reality, and I think it will be a reality within 10 years. It's going to be expensive, but over time, I think more and more of us are going to get the opportunity to do that.
All right, and there's a belief that as self-driving cars develop, we'll be able to do away with things like traffic lights and road signs. How will traffic be regulated in the future?
Yeah, so we have like cloud computing, the Internet of Things. Imagine the Internet of Cars. All these vehicles connected to each other and automatically just knowing where each other is. We can just jump in, we can call them up, whether it's through our devices or whatever, and just jump in and get to where we want to go with relatively little trouble. That means like no more like roundabouts, traffic lights or whatever. Once there's a majority of these vehicles on the road, I actually think that there'll be infrastructure and dedicated roads within cities for these particular vehicles. That's really exciting. There's already self-driving technologies in most of the new vehicles that are coming out, Tesla, some of the new Ford vehicles or whatever. And I think that this is going to be prevalent. Again, within 10 years, it's not that far away. We're going to see a lot more on the road.
And the roads themselves, you've got some theories as to how that's going to change, like charging cars as they go and performing other functions, like what melts snow. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so what's really interesting is within a couple of years, the price of an electric vehicle is going to be about the same as a combustion engine vehicle. But we still have to stop, we still have to charge them up. Sometimes that's 30 minutes, 15 minutes on fast chargers, sometimes longer. Now, you've actually got conductive roads that could actually charge your vehicles. You might drive down a 5 kilometer stretch, and it actually charges your vehicle up with new technology as you go down there. And roads are already built with a lot of different sensors in there. I was chatting to a consultant. The Sea to Sky Highway is full of sensors. So we're building and baking in this kind of technology to help us work out what's best to do. But the new technology is conductive technology, that charging. We're never going to have to stop. Imagine a taxi that runs 24/7, 365, and no driver.
Whoa. I know. All this stuff is so mind-blowing to me, including teleporting. What's your take on that?
Yeah. So it's fantastical. You know, this is the future. But researchers in the University of Calgary have actually managed to teleport one proton of light 6 kilometers across Calgary. Now, this uses quantum entanglement and quantum theory to be able to work out, you know, the dynamics of doing that. But who's to say that in 150 years, we're not going to be able to just teleport me over to Toronto and then back to Vancouver just at the press of a button?
It's just mind-blowing, really. And, you know, with that, in 150 years, we'll never know. Futurist Nikolas Badminton, we appreciate your insight this morning. Thanks so much.